And we're live. Yo, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may find yourself as you listen to this. And you're tuned in to the only sports podcast, Brains and Bars. This is a black thing featuring A1 and A Ward. I'm one half of the dynamic duo. I am A1. You can check out every episode of It's a Black and White Thing by going to the podcast app of your choice, wherever you get the good podcasts. Search for It's a Black and White Thing or Brains and Bars. Give us 5 stars, leave a comment. You can also check us out by going to YouTube as we are live right now. YouTube, middle of the Friday afternoon before uh, Labor Day weekend, kickoff of college, the true kickoff of college football taking place. You can follow us there. You can also follow us on social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I'm sorry, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and I think I said Instagram already. Those are and Facebook, sorry, at Brains and Bars. And as always, I'm joined by my homie, my ace, A Ward, who's in the building. What's going on, sir?
Was in the middle of relocating because my laptop battery was like, you got guess what? This is not gonna last. Oh man, yeah, it's good to be here, man. Good to see you. Excited. This is like basically our favorite time of the year, I think. And couple that with battle rap and college football, like two like great things. This is a special year, man. Special year, 2025. Shout out to it. So with that being said, both of our teams are going to lose this weekend.
Man,
It's just
man.
it's
It's a
destiny.
lot of it's I mean, listen, you know me, I'm always prepared for the loss. So that way when it happens, I'm not as crushed. Um so like I sent that meme yesterday of the attacker with the knife and then the person with their hands up like please no, and the attacker with the knife was my favorite college football team full of 18 to 22-year-olds ready to ruin my mental health, and then here's me.
Yeah.
No, please.
Yep.
I mean, listen,
Don't do it.
Notre Dame lost to NIU on my birthday. It was September 7th. That day will
Oh
go
yeah,
down in
last year.
infamy.
Oh.
They lost on my birthday. And I never, when Riley Leonard threw the interception, shout out Mama Ward in the building. When
What's up, mama?
Riley Leonard threw the interception, I was sitting at this table watching the game and I lost it. I mean, I haven't raged like that in a long time. Beating the table, I'm yelling, and my son is playing like online with his friends, and so like they can hear me lose their crap. One of the kids is like, "Who is that? What is going on?" So yeah, yeah. But yeah, man, we're college football is here. It is our favorite time of the year. We're gonna talk about some of the bigger matchups taking place this weekend, including your team, my team, a couple of other big games happening over the Labor Day weekend. We'll get into all of that. We're going to talk about the Micah Parsons trade, which okay. But let's start. Anything happened in your life over the last couple of weeks?
Man, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. Just we had a pretty big announcement a few weeks ago. If you are a faithful listener of this particular podcast, or if you're a faithful follower of battle rap, or watch any podcasts that have anything to do with battle rap or any media outlets, um, there's been one question that a lot of people have asked for a lot of years now. And so really the only thing that could have trumped the shocking news of Michael Parsons to the Green Bay Packers is a Ward making his URL debut, on Summer Madness. So that was just really cool to be a part of. Man, I hate to make the parallel, but it's one of those situations where it's not something we were just planning for months, like a phone call happens, another phone call happens, and then what went from like the week before being like, yeah, I don't know, we might not ever see it, to like a week later being like, hey guys, so I did a thing. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Yeah.
and so the rollout, the just the back and forth with working with them so far has been great. They brought me out to Orlando to shoot the face off. That was really dope. The excitement from the day of the announcement to the rest of the card, just really excited. So I had mentioned in a couple interviews, like, you plan out in your head how you want things to happen, And for years I've always said like no to this or no to this or no to this because I had a vision in my head. Now that vision also, included me at the top of the rafters, like zip lining down onto a stage, and then being like, ta-da, but I mean, some things are just a little lofty in the expectations, but no, you have a vision of like what the first time looks like when you step on this platform. And this is like as close to the ultimate vision as it could have gotten. Summer Madness in London against one of their top guys, on a card with Loaded Lux, on a card with Geechee Gotti, Shotty Horror, Tay Rock. It just was a no-brainer. And, I kind of stuck to my guns in a lot of the conversations in the past about what I wanted. And I worked with them, they worked with me. And man, yeah, it's just been a really, really cool few weeks. And then, at some point in time, that cool few weeks is cool. And then it becomes, hey, yo, by the way, get to work, and then now we are transitioning into get to work, so that when you get up there, the world can see, what I've been able to do over the last 10 years.
Los, we're doing this show early because I am on the disabled list. That's why we're doing the show early. It's my Friday
There's
off.
always somebody that wants to pop in and ask that and not send you like, hey, praying for you. How you been, man? Glad your procedure went well. Like it's always somebody that wants to like, but it's okay. It's okay. I get it. He's still upset about the Micah Parsons trade, man.
Man, I don't know if you saw this. Shout out to Hood straight from the trap. What do you think about Mace dissing Danny Myers? Did you see that?
Okay, let me do a twofold, right? One, I thought it was hilarious and probably unnecessary, right? Two, I went back and watched the rounds, and they weren't great rounds from either one, right? I'll be honest with you. They didn't deserve like what he said, but Danny Myers was dressed up in a full zip. Michael Myers. I don't know what Danny Myers was wearing. Yoshi was over like it was there was a lot going on in the two video rounds. I'm going to be honest. And it wasn't like the best material ever. So I didn't think that they both deserved what Mace did. But I also was just kind of like, it was funny. It was great for the internet.
Man, he
Mace was
violated
wild.
them.
He
Wilded.
violated. He definitely violated.
Oh my gosh, man. Oh my God. The fact that he didn't even do like a video, he just sent a long voice note. Like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. Like, I don't want to mic up for this, like, or cam up for this. Like, get somebody else. I'm not even picking a winner. I'm like, dang, bro. You could at least take the Uncle Rod, like, this is not $25,000 worth of raps and still gave you a winner. But man,
I think he's very disconnected from battle rap. I think he probably expected there to be a beat and people be, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that he even like, had a clue of what battle rap is these days, So I think he was probably just be like, yo, what am I watching? Like, no, like, so, yeah, it was funny. It was definitely unnecessary. But yeah, so there's been a few good little, things from battle rap as of a couple of weeks that have been funny, fun to talk about. But back to me.
first of all, like, listen, I at this point I can't fight you, so I just have to shoot you. Like I'm not in a position to scrap it out with you. So I'm just gonna pull up with the blicky, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like I can't fight you. I'm not in a
Yo,
space
low
to
key,
fight
if you just
anybody.
rolled off like this real quick, I would die laughing. Just like,
Oh shoot, I can't laugh. I can't laugh. I got y'all not to laugh as much. But yeah, but like, yeah, let's continue though, man. Like I think to the URL conversation, man, like it was kind of crazy when you jumped in the group and you're like, yo, I think this is really gonna happen. And I'm like, oh, word. And I think actually I already knew that. I knew that. We had a conversation. You told me like I think I might be going to URL, like Ballon T Top, Summer Madness, London. And I'm like, oh, like,
it's like
because
boy
I've
who
always
cried wolf.
said, yeah, but no, it's not the boy cry wolf. I was like, dang, I've always I always said that the debut I was going to be there, and I'm like, London.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I got my like,
Thanks.
you know what I'm saying? Like, that was my first thought. Like, first of all, obviously excited for you, because like you normally don't come to us with that. Normally, it's like, yeah, they offered me so and so on this card, and I didn't even call them back, or yeah, we had talks, but it didn't go anywhere. So it was normally one of those things going on. So So you normally got that. You normally got that going on, and so I think when you said that, I was like, oh yeah, this is probably it. Like this is the one. And so when
Yeah.
the trailer finally drops, I know we were sitting there running in the group chat, like, okay, is this today? Are we getting the trailer today? We getting the trailer today? And then I think when they dropped, so I think the battles
The
from
Nexus
Docs.
announcements or something
No,
like that.
I don't know if it was either Nexus announcements or they might have dropped. That's what it was. They dropped the Nexus announcements, and it was just like, okay, he's leaving to Orlando. You know what I'm saying? Like tomorrow, and I'm like, so
Yeah.
far, this is. Let me commend everyone who knew about this and really kept it a secret, because that's also been a thing, right? So when you were supposed to battle Twerk on Band, that got leaked out, and that was before. I think this is the Twerk car accident, right? So I mean, that got leaked, and that was
Yeah.
everywhere before it got a chance to happen. And so in battle rap, nothing stays a secret for long because everyone's always talking. And so the fact that if it was out there, I never saw it like reported like breaking, or we know this A Ward is about to sign. Like we never saw this. Now maybe some people knew. I did see a blog from Jim's, like maybe a couple of days that because I still follow Jim's on Twitter. He had a blog about URL. Y'all need to bring him over already or whatever. Um,
Yeah,
but
that was anything that was posted stemmed from like Hip Hop is Real's interview with me. And Hip Hop is Real did an interview with me after the JC battle. And the way they kind of clickbaited and worded the interview, I really wasn't happy with, honestly. But I mean, it wasn't something to where I felt like I should like hit him up and say, yo, take that down or whatever. Because they asked me about my relationship with URL, like they always do. Are we gonna see it? And I gave them pretty much the exact same answer. The only thing I had to say was, I do think now we're in a space where exclusivity contracts are understood like from a bigger, broader landscape to be something that, yeah, that's probably not going to happen, anymore. Like they've kind of been publicized as something that and I said, once we can remove that barrier, it becomes an easier conversation. That's all I said. And then they kind of clickbaited. It was like A Ward hints at URL debut. I'm like, yeah, I never did that at all. I was already going to be debuting, and I made sure in the interview not to say we're working on something, or you know what I mean. Like, so I think the Jim's blog and like anything else kind of like stemmed from Hip Hop is Real saying that. And here's my thing: is like Hip Hop is Real might have known. Like Knowledge he didn't ask me. He didn't say, yo, Ward, like, I heard can we do an interview about that? He didn't. He might have known. I mean, T Top obviously knew, and T Top's people probably knew because he told them, "Hey, I'm battling Ward." That's what kind of that stemmed from the couple blogs that got dropped. But I'm with you. I was just like, yo, the longer we wait, like I'm about to be flying to Orlando. What's A Ward doing here at the
cat's
band
out the
event,
bag
in
at that point.
Orlando?
Yeah.
Now we're doing a face off with a bunch of people around now. So I was like, okay. And of course, like, I flew to Orlando that Friday morning, and it dropped right when I got off of the airplane. Yeah, I saw Sheet Happens. We were both waiting on a shuttle together, and he was just like, Ward, oh my gosh, so it was kind of cool. Like, I'm still like smiling ear to ear, looking at the thing over and over, reading all the tweets, trying to be like, I promise I'm not ignoring you, Sheet, but I'm just like engulfed in like, what it was for that day.
Yeah, yeah. Did Uncle Ra ever drop? Because I know he had an interview with you. Did he ever drop that one?
He did. He didn't. He told me, he was like, I called him like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days later, maybe. And I was like, Rob, like I gave you, and I probably shouldn't have. I think it's probably against the contract to, let him know. I was like, I gave you the interview, when I was there at the compliment battle, like we went to the side, I gave you the interview, like, and he just told me that he like had a day that he was just not even online. And it just happened to be the day of the announcement, So he's like, "Y'all wasn't online." He's like, "I didn't even know they announced it yet." I talked to him like, he's like, and he was just like, he was like, "Man, I need to go back and look and see." He's like, "There's probably a lot of interviews out now." I was like, "Well, I did one with three Letterman." I was like, "But that's really all I've done." And he was like, "Okay, yeah." But I guess maybe he just went back and decided like, there's a specific time to go ahead and drop that thing, and then pause if necessary, and then after a few days, it's probably like, yeah, never mind.
I almost considered because we talked about doing the show before you left, and I just kind of scrapped it. And I thought about, okay, what if we don't go live? What if we talk about the interview? Or what if we talk about it, the announcement, and all that good stuff? And then, the date, I just put it on private. Soon as the trailer hits, boom, exclusive. I could have
Boom.
scooped three Letterman. I had the ability to scoop three Letterman. Three Letterman, shot to three. He is like the official biographer of A Ward interviews and content. I feel like if nobody else is gonna get an interview, and that's obviously shout out to the relationship that you all have, but I thought
Yeah,
about out scooping him, but he's really good at what he does. He's really good at asking questions and drawing getting good information out of people. So shout out to three, man. Go to PSA Reloaded, check out that interview talking about your debut. So I mean, I I'll say this like this is I think I text we were talking back and forth and I'm like, man, it's surreal. It feels surreal to like see, you showed us you took a flick with Smack, you at the face off, right? And you like show that, send that to the group, and it's just like, yo, this is crazy. Like this isn't just like a man, Ward, let's get a pick. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up? What's good with you? It's like, no, like you're a part of this event, you're a part of this brand. And it just like I said, it still feels very surreal. And I don't know if there's a place for me. Obviously you've been to the steel yard before. I've never been to the steel yard before. I don't know if there's a place for me. I don't like to be on stage. I probably will because we're in another country. If I can get like, access,
yeah,
just because this isn't, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to say strange land, but I'm not in a place where I don't know where I'm going to be, what I'm going to do, what my emotions are going to be. But like when you walk out on the stage, I'm just going to be like, oh my God, like this is it.
yeah,
This is it. Like 10 years worth of work from, the first video going on the connects, what I'm saying, going crazy with 80,000 something views in a week, to Justin Biggs, to
yeah,
your car accident. No, a softball. I would say car wreck, but it was a softball incident that kept you from being there. And then it just kind of, there's always been kind of these forks in the road, sliding glass door moments. And now we're here. And this is interesting. Like, T Top seems like he's got something to prove. Like he's obviously coming in saying, I'm the underdog. Nobody expects me to win. And he feels like he wants to make an example. And so I think this is obviously there's pressure on both of you. There's because obviously you're the newcomer. So if you come in and you have a great performance against T Top and people feel like you won, then it's like, T Top, man, you let this outsider come in and spank you. If you get on stage and he dominates and it's like, oh, see, we told you he couldn't hang, it's different over here, yada yada yada. So I mean, I expect you guys to both be locked in and prepared. I know shout out to T Top, he's got an event he's throwing the night before. Bunch of UK versus US artists. So shout out to Straight Drop Media, excuse me, what they got going on. But I expect him to be fully locked in, focused, and ready to go, man. I mean, the battles they've announced, your battle, obviously Luxon and Twerk, Fonz and Rock, which is gonna be like crazy, and then Shotty and Geechee, man. Um, man, like
yeah.
that. Those are four incredible battles, and there's still more to come. So, like I'm excited. I can't wait to watch it. I'm gonna get the pay-per-view as well so I can watch it back. You know what I'm saying? And so I mean, congratulations, man. Like I think
Thank you, man.
no disrespect to Easy the Block Captain, right? But a lot of people have tried to say, well, man, Easy laid the blueprint, blase, blase, blah. And no, all due respect, you laid the blueprint, right? Like you went against the machine, right? And for a lot of years, people were not. Why don't you just get it out the way? Why don't you just go battle none none? No disrespect to none none, right? Or any other. Why don't you just battle XYZ battler, get it over with, and then go jump? And you like, no, like I have a plan for what I want this to be. You stuck to your guns, even when people like myself disagreed and was like, "Nah, this is the one. This is the one." Right? You stuck to your guns and you made it happen. Like you said with the announcement, did it your way. So, real quick, let's talk about the latest announcement. 'Cause I know you talked about the other battles with three. Mama Ward says she swears she saw the interview from Unc. I don't. I don't. We'll go check it out. We'll go check it out.
He might have,
But let's
he might have ended up dropping it. Yeah, he might have ended up dropping it. But
But let's talk about this. The latest announcement from the card. This happened this past weekend at Nexus. Mama Ward asked that we watch Nexus. I watched. I still got the last two battles to watch. I didn't make it to O Red and Hustle or the main event. So, but I did watch Klutz Chess. I watched Bill and Hansel, and there's another battle that I'm missing in there that I watched. But I did watch those three. Thought Klutz was really impressive. I thought Klutz second and third. He has some really good sports bars in there, by the way. Like you should check that out when you get the chance, just from a sports bar perspective. I thought he had some dope sports bars in there. Um, but I did watch that. So, but let's talk about Shotty versus Geechee being announced as the fourth announcement from this card, man. What do you think about that? Those two locking and matching up.
yeah, I love it, man. I joked with JB and I said, listen, the more you guys want, like keep announcing battles that are gonna happen after mine. I was like, because I want to go second or third, like I was like, we're gonna have to have Shotty and Geechee, and we're gonna have to have Lux and Twerk after me. We're gonna more than likely Tay Rock Fonz too. So let me get that third spot. Like give me the second or the third battle. Get my debut over with, kick back, be happy, watch the rest of the event. So, I don't want to be hanging out back there with the Twerk and Lux, like I'm good. I'm good. So I was super excited, man. My first thought was like, damn, you want to let somebody else debut too? Oh, okay, I see what y'all trying to do. And I was like, you know what though? Each situation is so different and so cool. And I'm just really glad that Shotty and URL kind of mended whatever they had going on as well. Because it's not as similar. Like the stories aren't, similar, but there's some conversations that had to be had before Shotty could get locked in on there as well. And so yeah, man, that's just great for the city. You always want somebody from London there. Like I think that's really, really dope to have somebody from the town. And I don't know if he's from London, he might be from Manchester or somewhere else out there in England, but someone local to the country. And then against Geechee, like man, like Geechee's all he does is Summer Madness is a big name opponents and stuff like that. I think it's gonna be a really, really, really good battle. I'm excited for all of it, man. And I know the rumblings of a couple other ideas for battles that are great, but nothing I've been locked in, but I've heard some of the, and I'm just, yeah, man, we're like what 3.5 weeks away, something like that. Or is it 3 weeks from, it's 3 weeks from tomorrow, ain't it? Yes. 3 weeks
Yep.
from, no, it's 3 weeks from Sunday.
3 weeks from Sunday.
3 weeks from Sunday. Yep. So, now I'm about to freaking have a panic attack after I just said that out loud. So, I need to get to work, man. Get to work.
Yeah. Shout out to Shotty. Shotty is from Manchester. Which
Manchester, yeah.
I hope he's not a United fan because they suffered a super embarrassing loss a couple of days ago. So yeah, but shout out to them. So but yeah, that's really I'm trying to think anything else battle rap we want to talk about. Shout out to Loso. Loso's battling Cash Money, I think this weekend in the King
tomorrow.
of the Cabin tournament with Fawn. So hopefully he will continue his run. I feel like his year has been super underrated. And hopefully he will get a call from URL for some cards coming up because he's been putting on this year. Shout out to everybody who's participating in that tournament. I know I think Fendi's in that tournament, right? I think she advanced in round one. I think Mallory X, I think, is also in that one. So a couple of notable names in that tournament still kicking, still around. So I don't know if they're dropping any, if it's going to be live on pay-per-view or maybe live on YouTube. But if it is, well, Uncle Rod, Mama Ward, did the investigative work for us, it did drop. So it is out on 15 Minutes of Fame YouTube. So yeah, go check that out when y'all get a chance. But yeah, let's switch, man. Let's talk. We'll end with college football. Let's talk real quick about the NFL. NFL season kicks off next Thursday. Season opens in Philly. Cowboys taking on the Eagles. I still call it the link. I don't think it might not be called Lincoln Financial anymore, but I still call it the link. Um, they are going to that matchup goes down, but never to be outdone, never to miss a media cycle. Jerry Jones decided late yesterday that he was going to trade Micah Parsons from the Cowboys to the Packers. Surprisingly, the fact that he did it in conference, a team on the schedule this year. And so that matchup goes down in week 4, I believe. And so Micah got traded to Green Bay, but he also signed a record breaking contract, 4 years. I forget how much the totals were, but it's like $47 million a year, and his gross or his average salary. So he has signed a new deal with them as well. And I'll start with you. Your response to that trade and your reaction to when you saw it hit your screen.
Yeah, it's weird because I'm not gonna say I'm anti trading Michael Parsons, which it sounds crazy, right? Because of how good he's been and how dominant he's been. I'm completely anti how they traded Micah Parsons. Like I'm of the like, if you were going to trade him, like, why did it not happen in March before the draft, where some team's gonna give you all kinds of picks? Like, they're gonna dump the house and give it to you. You know what I mean? Because even up to like last year, we were always talking, I think, like, how are they gonna sign Dak? How are they gonna sign Micah, CeeDee Lamb, keep Trayvon Diggs? Like, how is this money thing gonna work for the Cowboys? Somebody's gonna be the odd man out, right? And so, like, with that being said, like, the fact that you waited all the way up until now and you got two, which were probably going to be late round picks, 20 to 32, and okay, I think it is unfair because I think the player they got is a solid player, so it's kind of unfair that this guy's name is being like thrown in with, like, he's almost being looked at as a bum, and he's like a 3-time Pro Bowler, whatever. So it's like, but it's just because it's like, yo, you could have gotten so much more. Like, you could have gotten so much more from Micah Parsons. And I think that's the thing, is like, we all know Jerry Jones' ego and all that good stuff. And then wait until the week before the first of the season and then just getting 2 first-round picks and a player. It's terrible. It's really, 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 really terrible. I don't know. What do you think? He thought he was going to cave and just settle for the 40.5 million? Like, we're talking, he got 47.
Hold on, you broke up a little bit. Can you hear me? You're like in the matrix on my side. Oh,
More.
hold on, Ward. You're in the matrix. I didn't hear anything you just said. Let me see something
Like, check.
here. I can hear you
I'm
now.
back.
All right. You still froze up on
Boom.
my end.
I'm back. I'm back now.
There you go. So I
All
didn't hear
right.
the last 10 to 15 seconds you were in the matrix. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, it's all right. I was just basically saying, like, we know Jerry Jones has an ego, but, what did you think? Like, was he going to, like, 40.5 is what you were offering him, and he got 47 million. We're not talking about, oh, he signed for 41.5 somewhere else, or 42. No, he signed for, like, literally, 20 million plus more, So I don't know, man. It's one of those situations where it's just like, you're so like full of yourself and full of this, this this team that has been sorry. Like, I mean, honestly, sorry, but, like, not good, like, not great for a long time. Like, if they had any other decal on their helmet, like, we wouldn't even you wouldn't even get this much publicity. And it's just like, because of how mediocre you've been for however long, and then now you have an opportunity to turn this player that into actual picks, actual players, and you just, yeah. Oh well. A lot of people say it couldn't have happened to a better franchise.
I mean, I guess here's my thing. So I know some people say, well, this isn't worse than a Luka trade. And I understand why you say that. Basketball, it's one man has the ability to affect the game more greatly in basketball than it does football. Luka was clearly the best player on the Mavericks. He had just led them to the NBA Finals.
He found out.
But to me, it's worse from this perspective because everything was on a tee for the Cowboys to get a deal done. Micah has to bear some of the blame by sitting down with Jerry and talking the contract without his agent. It's like literally the rules say you cannot do that. If you unless you represent yourself, your agent has to be the one who negotiate this deal. And I'm pretty sure that is either self-preservation for the player, not necessarily the owner.
Yeah.
Right. So if you go back to the Last Dance documentary, right, and you think about Scottie Pippen and how he felt towards the organization, part of that was due to a contract he signed where, according to management, they said, Scottie, are you sure that you want to sign this deal? Because we understand that this is a great deal for us, right? Good deal for you, great for us. He signed it. And within a few years, he became disgruntled, felt like he got taken advantage of, so on and so forth. Right. So that protection is in place probably for the player so they do not get taken advantage of. So even if you said to Micah, we got a 5-year, $40.5 million a year deal set up, whatever, right? You had to know that when you went to his agent and said that's the deal, his agent was not just gonna rubber stamp that. Like he wasn't just gonna be like, oh yeah, okay, cool. Right.
Right.
Especially when like that was around the same amount of money that Miles Garrett got, or really
Yeah.
close to it. And you obviously you want to set a new benchmark. Jerry said that he was going to
And you're
set that
younger.
benchmark for
You're
him,
younger than Miles Garrett, right?
and you're younger than Miles Garrett. So, you had that going. And so for Jerry's ego to get in the way, that's hilarious. Gonna miss my Niners ending Michael Parsons season every year. I mean, it could technically still happen if they meet in the playoffs, but the Niners have had the Packers number in the playoffs the last few years. But like for you to let your ego get in the way and dictate that, well, we had a deal and I don't need an agent. We don't need an agent for this. Yes, you do. The rules literally state you need an agent. And so I see you say, well, there's a huge difference between 47 and 40 million. According to Micah's side, if they would have offered him a 4-year deal, he would have took it, right? He said, I think right before, maybe a couple of hours before the news conference from the Cowboys, he said that he went to Jerry and said, hey, can we really talk about this and try to hash it out? And the response was according to Micah, right? Do what you take this for what it's worth. Take the 5th year leave. And I'm like, are you sick?
50? Are you
Fifth.
Oh, fifth. Oh.
Take the 5th year, right? So, because the deal he signed in Green Bay is only 4 years. Sorry, it's only 4 years. So it seems that maybe the money and the guarantees might not have been the issue from the agent side of things. It might have been the how many years. And so David Mogetta saying, whoa, 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 5 years, no way, right? Because technically you count he would be on the last year of this deal, then another 5 years before he's able
Yeah.
to go back into the market and get a new deal. And so he's saying, no, 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 no. We want 4. I keep going the wrong way. We want 4 years. And I think that was a sticking point. And so to not even come back and try to negotiate from that point, when we're talking about just a year, 1 year, and you keep your franchise player, and you listen, you don't trade all pro players in their prime. And your point about Kenny Clark, the parallels between that and the AD trade are even more hilarious because people talk crazy about. I mean, you would have thought AD was a bum, but people were saying all you got was a first round pick and Anthony Davis, and that's it, right? And so, I mean, listen. I know I got certain people who are like, who I've talked to, say, "Well, Jerry stood on business, and I'm here for it." I'm like, well, he's an idiot. Like, there's one thing to stand on business and another thing to be standing on business and being an idiot about it. And he was being an idiot about it because this does not make the Cowboys better. He said, I want to stop the run. And I'm like, well, okay, that's cool. Micah, maybe you feel like Micah doesn't help you stop the run, but it's a passing league. Like 55% of the 60% of the times the teams you're facing going to be dropping back the pass. And All due respect to Kenny Clark, Kenny Clark's not getting to the quarterback at the same rate as
Yeah.
Micah. And so you have just crippled your defense for how many years? Because you assume, again, you talk about those draft picks. You took a sure love it or list it, right? Or I don't even really watch these shows, right? So I'm just gonna try this analogy real quick. And somebody who watches Love It or List It can tell me if I got it right. You have on hand a multi-million dollar house that is ready for you, and you can list it and you can sell it and flip it for whatever. And instead you go, well, there's this house. It's a shotgun. It needs a lot of TLC, a lot of work, probably like about $500,000 worth of work in it. But if we work on it, maybe we can turn around and make it somehow becomes just as good as this mansion. No, it's not. You are making you traded Micah Parsons for scratch offs. Like you didn't even trade him for like the mega millions. You went and traded him for scratch offs because you don't know what you're going to get. That's hilarious. I swear I've seen like maybe an episode of Love It or List It. But I'm just saying,
So
like that's a
yeah,
crazy thing to do.
correct. I'm about to quote a woman. Pause or not pause, but like pause my whole existence because this lady just said this on ESPN, and you know what I mean. I'm about to quote this lady that she said, and it made sense. She's like, these picks that you get, you pick the guy in hopes that he can become the next Micah Parsons. You know what I mean? Like that's the idea of it, right? It's like let's get these picks so that we can hope that he can become something that you already have, and it's kind of just like where is the logic in that at all, and then I just heard Nick Saban say, which I think I agree with, is like a pass rusher is the most coveted like position on the defense, like clearly he's like, like you can have a lockdown secondary, but guess what? If you have a guy that gets to the quarterback very quickly, you don't need a lockdown secondary. It's like, like he is literally like like he's top three at his position right now. Maybe with his age, he's most coveted. I don't know how old Crosby is, but like Garrett, Crosby, and Parsons are probably like the top three. But it's like at his age, he's the most coveted like defensive player like in the NFL. And yeah, it's just kind of wild. It's just kind of wild. But like I said, here's the other thing. We were shocked, right, about Dallas Mavericks sending Luka. Nobody is shocked about how Jerry Jones is operating. Like
Uh,
I feel like there's a shock that it actually happened, but like I don't feel like I feel people are just like it's Jerry Jones. He's running this thing into the ground the way he wants to. Like
yeah, I don't get it. And maybe he lucks up and it works out for him.
maybe
But
does,
it's
yeah.
just but it's just like, bro, you went about this completely wrong. And the thing is like he did this with Dak, right? Dak's contract went to what? The morning of, right? I think it was the morning of the opening game of the season where Dak was, I mean, you hear, if you remember last year, those interviews with Dak was like, look, man, this is it. This is it. Like he was
Yeah.
just like, this is my last ride with the Cowboys. Cool. It was fun. Whether I'm here or somewhere else next season, it's been a fun ride. I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like CD's contract went late into the preseason, and it's just like it's just a continual pattern of trying to play hardball, of down talking your players in the media that you want. Like I put it to you like this: when we now granted, I know I can be a person who is notoriously difficult to do a trade with in fantasy football, right? I can. I like
I've seen
I
worse.
want
He hasn't he
to.
hasn't messaged on the chat in a
No,
minute.
Lo,
Did he
he's
stop?
not watching anymore. I'm
He
pretty sure he's
stopped
not
watching?
watching.
Oh, okay. He stopped
Yeah, I'm
watching.
pretty sure he stopped watching. But Los, yeah, that's a reference to you, my friend.
Yeah.
Um, but like the one thing I have told people is like, yo, you can't sit here and badmouth a player in a trade and you can't sit here and badmouth the player in a group chat and then turn around and ask for like my best player. You've been talking trash about him all year. Why
Yeah,
would
yeah.
I give you my best for somebody you're calling a bum every week? No, you're going to take my scraps. I'm going to take this player who has a lot of upside probably, and we'll go from there. And so you listen to Jerry sit there and talk bad about not just like bums, but about his best players. Right. He talked this offseason, he has talked crazy about Trayvon Diggs, Micah Parsons. I want to say he talked sideways about Dak. I don't know if he talked sideways about CD, but he talked about three of his best players. When Jake Ferguson signed a deal, he praised Jake for doing the right thing and taking, which is obviously a shot at Michael. By the way, he kept calling him Michael yesterday, at Michael Parsons. But it's just like, bro, like, what is wrong with you? Like, I don't know. Like, this is how do you get players who want to play for you if you're going to simply take your locker room leaders? Again, these are the people who are leaders in your locker room, and you're talking crazy about them. Like, it's just it baffles my mind. And again, I put on Facebook. I said, Cowboy fans, file a class action lawsuit. File a class action lawsuit. You've been had, you've been swindled, and you deserve financial compensation, pain and suffering, something. But if I was a Cowboys fan, this would be it for me. Like,
Yeah,
granted,
it's done for you.
I'll be done. I would officially be a free agent. I am in the transfer portal of NFL fandom. You know what I'm saying? And like I will be have my three hats laid out for my announcement of my new team in a week, and we will be committing to Green Bay or San Francisco
That's how somebody talks that's not from where they're a fan of. You can't I can't just not be from there anymore. If you're from Dallas, you can't jump in the portal. But if you're like a transplant, like I started watching the Cowboys, yeah, you can jump in the portal, but you can't. I can't
listen,
do it.
listen, I have boycotted seasons of Notre Dame football and stopped watching. With Tyrone Willingham at the end, I'm out of here. I'm not spending my Saturdays with this frustration. I hated watching Herm Edwards era Chiefs football. I stopped watching. Like, I am a principled man. I will quit. There, there is no shame in quitting. I will quit.
Yeah,
So yeah. If it were me, man, I'd be out of here. Where I could be born in Dallas, you know what I'm saying? Had a little I forget what the little haircut, the shag haircut, all of that. Cut it off like plastic. Cut it off. Cut it off. I'm done. You know what I'm saying? So nah, man. Y'all let us know what y'all think though, man. I just like I said, I can't believe that they did this. That he did. To start that morning, actually to the night before, there were tweets about, man, teams are starting to reach out to the Cowboys because they are truly interested and they think there might be some movement on the trade, and then to see it happen was shocking. But let's talk about this from the Packers perspective. We can wrap it up. In my estimation, the Packers defense was a pretty decent defense last year. It wasn't all world, but it also wasn't trash. They got some really young pieces there. And to me, adding Micah to that, I think they got to figure out their secondary. I believe Jair Alexander is in Washington. Not Washington. He's with the Ravens now. Right? Let me make sure I got that right. Yep, he's with the Ravens now. He was their top cornerback. So there's some questions on who's going to be the lead dog in the secondary. But they have a really young defense. Jeff Hafley, who is their defensive coordinator, came from Boston College. He did a really good job in his first year. And so I think that adding Micah Parsons to this defense is going to make them very scary in a division where I think it should be super competitive.
yeah, definitely. We don't really know what JJ McCarthy is going to be. We do know Kevin O'Connell.
McConnell, yep.
We do know he can what he can do with just about any quarterback. I think he's proven that, like, he get a guy in there and they can be good. Do I think they're going to be 14-2 good? No. Do I think the Lions are on a little bit of the downswing of the window that they had? Yeah. Don't really know what you got with the Bears yet. Hope to see improvement from Caleb Williams in his second year. So yeah, it's going to be a very, very competitive. I think it's a wide open. I think it's a wide. Well, outside of the Bears, I don't see the Bears winning it, but I think Vikings, Lions, and Packers. It's pretty much wide open for who's gonna take that division. I do think obviously their defense got better. They got Micah Parsons. Who's the guy they got on the other end?
Rashawn Gary.
Rashawn Gary,
Who's a really good edge rusher, man.
Yes.
Really good edge rusher.
So yeah, they're gonna be back there. Still, I think Jordan Love is good, but I just think that wide receiving core. I know they grabbed a guy in the first round for the first time ever, but that wide receiving core still is just kind of like.
I mean, they're always hurt. They're always hurt. I mean, you're already down. I forget the young man, Christian Watson. He's already done for the year with his. He had suffered a really bad knee injury. I think
Yep.
Jaden Reed is scheduled
Romeo
to be back.
Dukes,
Romeo Dobbs, he's been like
Dubs.
these guys stay banged up. So I think Matthew Golden is going to be the Christian Watson replacement. He was kind of like the guy who really stretched the field in the
Yeah.
again, it's preseason, but the few games in preseason, he did catch a couple of deep connections with Jordan Love. So hopefully he's really good. Hopefully for the sake of my dynasty league, he's really good because that was my first round pick. But I think Matthew Golden is going to he's going to have the opportunity to make some noise. And so to me, that's the thing is
They got to
can their
score the
pass
ball. They
rushers
got to
stay
score the
healthy?
ball in this division. Like the Lions are going to score the ball. The Vikings are going to score. Like they got to score. And so that's just what it's going to come down to is if they can find some kind of like offensive chemistry. I think the defense is going to be all right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, man. Y'all let us know what y'all think about the Micah Parsons trade. Is it worse than the Luka Doncic trade? I think so. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Were you surprised that it happened? Yeah. Hit us up at Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok at Brains and Bars. All right. Let's jump into our favorite thing, man. College football is back. It was started last week with Farmageddon in Ireland between K-State and Iowa State. Fireworks on and off the field there. Shout out to the Johnson family, not my family. We're not related, by the way. Um, but had some games last night. You had USF smackdown Boise State. Like, I think it was 34-7, 31-7. And
Something like
then
that.
in the nightcap, I couldn't stay up to watch that because I went to sleep. But
You didn't miss
you
much.
had Patrick Mahomes the fourth
Yep.
lead the Nebraska Cornhuskers to a win over the
Cincinnati Bearcats.
Cincinnati Bearcats. Did you see the tweet that Nebraska put out?
Uh-uh.
They deleted it soon after. I'm going to pull it up real quick. Hold on, because when you win, you simply just can't win. You got to troll.
Oh gosh.
So let me see. I want to share my screen. Yep. So this is the tweet. They took the engagement photos from the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce
change of
engagement
plan.
and put the Cornhusker in place. I mean, good Photoshop. I can't lie to you. It's really good
Yeah, I'm not
Photoshop.
mad at it actually. I'm not. I don't know why they took it down.
I mean, because they're about to feel the wrath of the Swifties. I mean, look,
It's gonna be a complete.
they were about to feel the wrath, so they deleted it
Like
like
our
maybe like
quarterback
10 or
does
15
not need
minutes.
those distractions going into next week. They're gonna be on our head so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was that tweet that went up. Listen, the one thing I say, hopefully not Dominic Raiola. That's the father.
Dylan.
Uh Dylan, thank you. Dominic has got to have a discussion with Dylan and say, you got to stop the Patrick stuff, though, man. You got to stop with the Patrick.
Yeah,
Like
I
at
don't know
first,
what it was
it was
cool, funny.
flattering at first, but now it's just like, and then they showed a clip of him mid game doing this. Now Patrick is always doing this with his fingers,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, Dylan, excuse me, Dylan, come on, my guy, like you got to cut it out. You got to cut it. I probably would be flattered if someone was around doing like an A1 impersonation, but after a while, it's like, come on, kid.
I like Bleacher Report posts like Patrick Mahomes leaves the game early. Did you see that? I'm like, gosh, why is this news? But like, he left with like 8 minutes to go in the game. They showed him like leaving the stadium or whatever. They're like,
He wants to beat the traffic.
I have 3 kids. Like, I didn't play for either one of these teams, by the way.
Exactly. Like this is for Jason and Travis. This isn't for me and for Brian Cook. Brian Cook played for Cincinnati.
Yep.
Yeah. But so you had that go down. But this weekend we got some big matchups, and let's start at the beginning. We'll start with the biggest matchup, which for some reason, sadly, is happening first.
Yep.
It is Texas at Ohio State Saturday at noon. Oh God. I will say this before you say what you got to say. Congratulations to Fox and YouTube TV for resolving their issues before I ended up canceling my coverage with YouTube TV. They got a deal done. But Fox, man, I get it. The ratings for having Ohio State on Big Noon, that's the reason why you see them on Big Noon so much. While all of their big games will end up on noon because the SEC is not putting Bama and LSU on at noon, right? They're putting it on at either 2:30 or 6 p.m. And so they're owning the early part of the schedule because they're putting the biggest matchups on at 11. But dog, y'all gotta throw us a bone on some of these, man. Some of these need to be night games. All due respect to Michigan. Michigan is playing like Northwestern State or somebody like that. And that is the game that's being broadcasted as NBC's game of the night of the week. Come on, what are we doing, guys? Put put Penn State, Ohio State at night. Texas, Ohio State. Thank God when the return matchup, because they haven't this is their first time playing, right? This probably got to be a home and home.
Yeah.
Whenever the home side happens, thank God this will be a hopefully, I'm saying thank God, but hopefully ESPN will be in control and this will be a night game like it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But your thoughts, Ohio State and Texas?
Man, it's wild that a game of this stature is played first. Like one and three is huge, and not on a neutral site too. Like not like in New Orleans at the Sugar Bowl or in the Chick-fil-A Classic or whatever. And then two, you have two teams that are coming back from the college football playoff that just played each other, in the college football playoff, right?
Yep.
And then three, you have brand new quarterbacks that are not even we're not even talking about transfer portal quarterbacks. We're not talking about guys that have played in big games before. We're talking about two guys who have never this is so which could be a good thing. It could be like I don't know any better. Like get out here and play football kind of thing. So it's just wild because watching football yesterday, and this is what everybody says in that first game. It's limiting the mistakes. It's limiting the penalties. It's limiting the turnover. Just the things, and it's like the way you limit those things is you have a signal caller who knows how to limit those things. To minimize the negative plays. Well, we have two guys that when they go in there and they have those problems, it's almost expected of them. So I would be very interested to say that I think this game might be good, but I think this game is going to be sloppy for some bit of it. I think the defenses. Both defenses are going to be very good. Both defenses lost a lot of players, but you still got Caleb Downs back there for Ohio State. On the other side, you lost Janae Barron. You lost, I think, two of the defensive tackles that Texas had went high in the draft.
Yep.
On the offensive side, you also lost Judkins and Henderson from the running back side.
Micah, Ibuka.
Yeah, there's just so much. There's so much that you've lost. There's so much that you don't know about this team. I think the things that we do know are this. I think Steve Sarkisian is one of the best offensive play callers in coaching, right? I think that I think Jeremiah Smith is the best player in college football. And so at the end of the day, get the ball to Jeremiah Smith, and that's all you got to do. That's literally, like I just said, Janae Barron's gone. Another one of their guys in their secondary. I think he got drafted in the second round. But
he was the safety. I can't think of his name, but yes, he was the safety.
Yeah, it's
Andrew Makuba. I think it's Andrew Makuba.
Yeah, yep. Bro, get the guy, get him the ball. There's some new guys out there. Get Jeremiah Smith the ball. And if anybody can not pay attention to the it's Arch Manning. I think he was probably raised to be able to tune that kind of crap out, So it's going to come down to, what football comes down to, not having a false start when you're first and goal on the 1 yard line and having to settle for a field goal, and then, not turning the ball over. And it's going to be an interesting day. If I had to pick a team to win, I would take Ohio State. I would take Ohio State just based off they have Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Smith, and they're at home. And I just think those two players are complete difference makers that we know, whether it be special teams with Caleb Downs, defensively with Caleb Downs, and offensively with Jeremiah Smith. And on the other side for Texas, they lost the receivers. They got Arch, who, is Arch, but they lost the receivers. They lost the defensive backs. And they lost the last time they played, so I would probably take Ohio State.
I am going to go with Texas in this one. Before I say why, let me just get one more thing off my chest. We do not need AP top 25 preseason polls
At all.
We don't. Listen, Texas versus Ohio State, you're watching. Clemson versus LSU, you don't need a number beside those teams' names.
Mm-hmm.
Miami and Notre Dame, you don't need numbers beside those team names. You're going to watch because of the tradition, the pageantry of it all. This is what makes college football a more interesting sport to watch than the NFL because one, you're dealing with children, you're not dealing with adults. You're dealing with children. You never know what you're going to get from week to week from kids. Even though the kids are getting older because of NIL and COVID years and all that stuff, but they're still children. But these schools have built up a reputation as powerhouses so that when you put them together against each other, people are going to tune in. That's number one. If I were a college commissioner, that would be the first thing. We're getting rid of rankings. We'll rank them for the first time since people love content and entertainment. The first college football playoff ranking of the year will be the first time we rank the top 25 teams because now we have some sort of data that says, yes, Texas was indeed worthy of that number one ranking. Notre Dame was indeed worthy of a top five ranking because all of this, all that happens here, if you have Florida State, right? Florida State was top five to start the year. They have an abysmal year. It becomes, can you believe how bad this team was? This team was ranked top 10 to start the season. And in the age of this transfer portal NIL, you don't know who's good from
Yeah.
year to year. So you talked about two quarterbacks who didn't transfer, but as I look at this top 10, Texas, Ohio State, Georgia, Notre Dame, Oregon, Bama, Miami. Now, granted, Miami has a transfer who has experience, but all of these schools, those were schools in the top 10. So I just named number one, number three, number
Yeah.
six, number seven, number eight, and number 10 all have new quarterbacks who either Miami's the only one who has a quarterback who's transferring in there. All these other ones, these kids were there the year prior and they're taking over for the first time. So, I mean, you just don't know
No.
who's good. Like, you don't know. Listen, there's been a lot of expectations on Arch and that he's going to be Heisman Trophy, that he's going to be the number one pick in next year's draft, which we can have that conversation another day about taking quarterbacks with less than 20 starts high in NFL draft because the track
Doesn't
record
matter
wasn't good.
because the Saints are picking first and he's going straight to New Orleans. And we
Listen,
know
I
this.
so if he comes out, but like we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with Arch. The last time we saw Arch in a game, he didn't play in the Ohio State game. I don't think he played. He might have been in for like
Took some
maybe one
snaps against
Wildcat play.
Georgia. He took some snaps against Georgia.
And
I
he
think.
looked shook. That was the SEC title game against Georgia. He came in to close the half because Quinn Ewers looked shook. And then Arch came in and he also looked a little shook. And so he's going to be in front of 100,000 screaming Rabbit fans who I don't know if they raise banners in college football per se, but this is their ring night, for lack of a
Yeah.
better term. They're the defending champions and they're kicking off their season. So they're going to be in front of that Rabbit fan base, and he's got to deal with the pressure of that and playing in probably one of the biggest stadiums he has ever played in his life. And so I don't know how that's going to affect him. Maybe he's got ice in his veins. Shout out to I just saw that kid's name and it's not blanking. Julian Sand. Julian Sand, I think, is a redshirt freshman. He's getting his first career start and he's playing big boy football. So good luck to both of them. I'm going to go with Texas just because I do think defensively they have lost a little bit less than Ohio State. Ohio State lost a lot on their edge. JT Tuimoloau, Jack Sawyer. They still have Sonny Styles is still there, but they lost some people on the back end as well. I'm going to go with Texas. I think they're going to have just enough to make enough plays to win that game. But let's jump into the next big matchup we got on the list. What time does Tennessee and Syracuse play?
The same exact time as Texas and Ohio State.
Then, well, you got the Vol, you got the Vol gear going. Let's talk that. How do you feel about Tennessee going into this game against Syracuse?
Man, I'll be obviously there's a lot of questions on the offensive side. Like I don't even have like this kid just got here a couple months ago, Joey Aguilar. I played at Appalachian State last year. Some of the highlight tape that I see of him is pretty good, but you don't even really get a lot of like looks in at practice and different things. I don't know if you saw Blurgate. Did you see Blurgate? Did you see that? Yeah. So it was about 3 weeks ago. There was an interception highlight of a defensive back at Tennessee making a crazy interception, and it was an underthrown ball. And Tennessee's social media team blurred out the face of whoever was throwing the pass, right? So as to not have the entire fan base go bat crazy, you know what I mean? And decide that this quarterback's not good enough because it was still at the time a quarterback competition. But yeah, offensively it's gonna be interesting to see. But man, I'll tell you what, I'm ready to watch the defense tomorrow. Like I can't wait. I think we have probably one of, if not the best defense in the SEC. And we won't have Jermon McCoy back yet because he's dealing with the ACL injury, and I think he's already been solidified as a top 10 pick in next year's draft as a defensive back. And so we like all last year, a lot of the issues with the tape on like Omar Norman Lott and James Pierce Jr., who went high in the NFL draft, was that they didn't play a lot of downs because we cycled the guys in. Like they didn't play 3-4 down, like they're all coming in. And those are like the only two guys we lost. We still got like we reload on the defensive line. We got our linebackers back. We got, a lot of the secondary back. So I'm just looking forward to hopefully tomorrow, like a defensive, like just dominance, and hopefully that offensively, some plays can be made, but I just don't know what to expect offensively. Tennessee's ran the ball well a lot, for the last however many years, whether it be Jalen Wright, Dylan Sampson, Jabari Small, whoever we put in there. Like Tennessee was running the ball. People remember Hendon Hooker, like to Jalen Highland and all that stuff. But those years we like led the SEC in rushing as well. So we always run the ball very well. But wide receiver wise, we got, some question marks. We obviously at quarterback. And so it's Syracuse. I haven't watched much of them. I know they lost Kyle McCord. I know they picked up the guy from Notre Dame. I know they got a couple other, transfers that came in. But they were competitive all year last year. Granted, I
think they were a 9-win team last year.
Yeah, and they had Kyle McCord who set records passing the ball. But like at the same time, it's like this is a team that has players on it that are used to winning because they won a lot of games last year. So that little 14.5 point favorite, I'm not buying that. But I do think that I know you hate to hear it. I just think it's different. I think once the Syracuse offensive line realizes that every guy on the defensive line is like 6'5", 260 as a defensive end, and then like the big guys in the middle, they're gonna be like, oh snap, what did we sign up for?
They won 10 games last year. They did get Steve Angeli from Notre Dame as a starting quarterback. They got Jonte Cook, by the way, from Texas, who was a high 5-star recruit who also transferred over to Syracuse. Shout out to Sam Pendleton, by the way, another Notre Dame transfer who is now starting at guard for Tennessee. So, a couple of Notre Dame connections there. A couple of Notre Dame connections there. I'm riding with you. I'm riding with the home squad. I'm gonna go Tennessee. Again, we don't know what to expect because you all have both, again, two teams with starting quarterbacks making their first start. So although I like Steve Angeli, I think the one knock on Angeli is he doesn't always have the best clock in the pocket. If you go back to that game where he came in last year against Penn State, when Riley Leonard had to come out of the game, he led them on the drive that got them the 3 points before halftime. It almost ended disastrously because the rush got there. He didn't anticipate it well, didn't try to escape the pocket, was stripped. And somehow, I think it was either Emil Wagner or Billy Strouth. I think one of the guards came up with the fumble and kept the drive going. So hopefully, maybe he's cleaned that up. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. But I'm gonna ride with Tennessee on that one, man. Let's see what else we got out here for week 1. We don't have to spend too much time on this, but Alabama taking on Florida State. Interesting, just because Florida State had such a terrible season last year. DJU was not it. They went and got Thomas Castellanos from Boston College, who is a talented quarterback. And also, again, we talk about new quarterbacks. Ty Simpson, he's been with the Crimson Tide now this is his 4th year. So he was there with Saban. He's a redshirt junior. But he's going to be starting for Alabama. So I'll take Alabama on that one. I don't know how you feel, but I think
I'm taking Alabama. But I'll say this much: if Alabama loses that game, DeBoer might as well just go start looking at Airbnbs or something. I don't know what, because they can't. Alabama can't lose that first game of this year after last year, after the way they ended with the Oklahoma loss. But they came back and played a couple of good games towards the end of the year because they crept back up in like the people thinking they were going to be, But yeah, I don't think they can afford to take that loss as bad as Florida State was. But it's still Florida State, right? Like, it's the thing. Like, Florida State's roster is probably still full of 4- and 5-star guys. It's just about, is it Norvell? Norvell?
Yep.
It's
Yep.
just about can he get them to play and can they get somebody in there? But at the end of the day, Alabama has Ryan Williams, and
Oof.
and you know all the talk about Jeremiah Smith. You know, if there is a 1A and 1B, like Ryan Williams is one of them ones too. So
Man, in the 2027 draft, you're going to have Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith coming out in the same draft. Man,
I'm sure the
that's
Detroit
crazy.
Lions will be up there, you know, ready to draft them a wide receiver. They'll grab somebody.
Maybe the Packers fall apart and that's
Yeah,
the Cowboys' number one pick, right?
there you
Top
go.
10 pick. Um, but yeah, I'm looking at, I don't really recognize too many names on Florida State's roster. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Bama. All right, nightcap for Saturday is Clemson and LSU.
Which is the
Is this
exact
didn't take it?
opposite as to what we've been talking about because they both have returning defense, offense, and quarterbacks.
Yeah, yeah. And listen, the last time Clemson won an opener to their in their season, 2022. LSU 2019. So somebody's getting off the schneid here and actually starting their season off on a more positive note than they have the last few years. So um this isn't happening in New Orleans though. I feel like New Orleans has been a house of horrors for
Where is
Brian
it at?
Kelly.
I don't know where it's at.
That's I'm about to look this up. I think this one actually might be at in Death Valley. It is. Matter of fact, because I just saw a writer say that he was on it. He was wheels
Clemson
up to death.
or
It's
LSU?
at Clemson. It's at Clemson. Clemson's Death Valley. So it is at Clemson, not at some neutral site. So who you got?
Whew, I'm gonna take Clemson. I'm gonna take Clemson. I think there's a reason why LSU hasn't won an opening game in the last few years. I don't know. I actually just watched the Any Given Saturday. Did you watch that on Netflix?
I have not. I have not.
Okay. You know, and it's funny because the whole first episode is them getting ready to play USC last year, if you remember, you know, and just the hype around that. And then them, for some reason, not being able to close the deal, you know, against a USC team that turned out to not be that great,
Not be
actually,
that
you know.
good. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I don't know if it's a coaching thing. I don't know if it's just it's psychologically like it's you know, for some reason the first game of the year LSU just can't get over the hump. Um, but I do trust Cade Klubnik at home with Dabo Sweeney's coaching a little bit more than I trust LSU on the road. I do know that LSU's defense, which has been not terrible, but pretty bad the last few years. I mean, the year Jaden Daniels won the Heisman, they were really bad, and the year before, I think they were. I mean, they just like if they had any kind of defense those years that he was there, we could be talking about national champion LSU Tigers. But I think their defense has gotten a little bit better. But
Well,
ultimately, I'm taking Clemson.
I'm going to LSU. I'm going to LSU. I think I like Grant. I know K Klubnik played better uh, as the season went on. He was terrible against Georgia to start the year last year. Where, to be honest, if he could have given them anything, they could have put a lot of pressure on Georgia because Georgia's offense wasn't doing much against Clemson's defense for the first half. What kept happening was Clemson kept going three and out, turnovers, giving Georgia short fields. And after a while, Georgia started to capitalize on that because it's hard to keep elite teams down for four quarters.
Yeah,
So he did play better, but then when he faced better competition, which I believe was who did they play in after they beat SMU? It was Texas, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I feel
Was it?
like I
Yeah,
think so. I
Georgia.
might have to look that up. I think it was Texas. So they beat SMU, and then I think they played Texas. Ohio State played Oregon. Notre Dame played Penn State. And yeah, I think that's right. Now you got me. Now I got to look this up. Let's see. Clemson 2024. Because this is gonna bug me until I figure it out. But yeah, I think they ended up. Yeah, it was Texas. They lost by 14 on December 21st. So yeah, I'm going to trust Garrett Nussmeier and LSU just a little bit more. I think this is a really big year for Brian Kelly. I think that he played for the SEC title his first year in LSU. But he hasn't had a bunch of success and he's lost. I mean, which is kind of Brian Kelly's MO, even at Notre Dame. He didn't win big games. And he really hasn't won a big game since that Bama game his first year. So I think this is a make or break year. Harold Perkins Jr., he tore his ACL, I think, last year, like early, and he is now a part.
We're pausing 10 seconds for station identification. This is It's a Black and White Thing featuring A1 and A Ward. Thank you for tuning in. After A1 is done being muted, we will continue the prediction. But as of right now,
Okay, we're ready to keep going. So I think this is a big game for Brian Kelly. I think they're going to get the win. All right, final one. Let's go to here. Go to home team. Sunday night, we got LSU. I'm sorry, LSU. We got Notre Dame versus
Miami.
Miami. Big one, big one, big one. So,
Where's it
let's
at?
see. It is at Miami. At Miami.
Oh, I know you don't want to pick Notre Dame, and you don't want us to both pick Miami.
So you start. You go first. You go first.
I'm taking Notre Dame solely off coaching. I think Marcus Freeman is a better coach than what's his name? Cristobal?
Mario Cristobal.
Cristobal,
He's
yeah.
still
Okay, he's still yeah. I think Freeman's a better coach. I think Miami, a lot of their success had to do with Cam Ward. I think Carson Beck is a downgrade to Cam Ward, especially athletically and able to string along plays. They lost Xavier Reposado, whatever the tequila last name he had in was Xavier extra
Restrepo.
special. They lost extra special. But they lost a few guys. And yeah, I'm definitely I think that I think Notre Dame goes there, wins by a field goal.
So I'll say this. I am picking Miami. I am picking Miami. And here's the thing. It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm being a pessimist. I do think because they have new players at quarterback in particular. They lost their safeties. They lost their cornerback. Oh wow. Sorry. My vice president just texted me. It threw me off. I didn't realize the number. I didn't know she had mine.
She watching the podcast? She picked Miami?
That's hilarious. But no, I think that the fact that they lost a lot on defense and the fact that they're starting a redshirt freshman in his first start ever in college football in Miami, you got the whole, kind of rivalry from back in the 80s that still kind of carries over to today. I think that's a lot to overcome. If they had the same defense from last year, I would take I'm not Miami. I would take Notre Dame. If they had my Riley Mills, Howard Cross, Ben Morrison, Xavier Watts, Jack Kaiser, if they still had all those guys on defense, I would go Notre Dame because they have that would be a proven senior laden team. Right now, I don't know if they have one senior who's starting from last year. No, actually, that's not true. They don't have anyone who's a senior who started from last year. They have a junior at corner in Christian Gray, who last time you saw him, he was having a rough game against Ohio State. But it's there. This is a team that's going to be trying to find their identity, and if they make the college football playoff, for me, that's a win. I don't see them making the college football playoffs just because you're breaking in a new guy. So
is Jeremiah Love healthy?
He is 100%.
Notre Dame's gonna win, bro. They're gonna control the time of possession. Yes. Notre Dame's gonna win. Although it's gonna be humid down there. I ain't gonna lie. They might need but give them oxygen. I was just in Tampa and Orlando the last 2 weeks. And bro, walking outside is uncomfortable.
Well, I mean, they started last year at A&M and same kind of similar conditions, not exactly the same, but similar conditions. But yeah, I just think that the fact that they have Garrett, I'm blanking on this. That's not his name. I got Garrett Nussmeier on the brain. Who's the Georgia quarterback that transferred?
Carson Beck.
Thank you, Carson Beck.
He's distracted because he's dating one of those twins. He's distracted, and he looks like Ed from Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
I think that they have the more experienced quarterback, and I think to me that will be the difference in the game is the experience versus you have
No,
someone who, like I said,
yeah,
he's
no
learning
doubt.
on the job, right? He's learning on the job, and again, you faced a similar situation last year when Nico was there, first time starting, but they had the defense, right? They had all these
Yeah.
experienced guys, and I just again new defensive coordinator too for Notre Dame, by the way. Al Golden is now coaching the Bengals, so yeah, there's just they had to replace a lot
Nico
on that side
plays
of the
against
ball.
Utah at 11 o'clock tomorrow night. And I will be watching because Utah's favored by 5.5 points. And I hope they stomp a mud hole in UCLA.
Oh God, y'all got to get that hate out your heart, man. Y'all got to let that go. I get it. He left on some nasty work, but you gotta let that get that hate out your heart, man.
Yep, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone.
Yeah, okay. That's until if let Utah be up 21-0. I bet in the group chat I'm going to get a post of the score and a couple of tweets from Tennessee Vol fans talking trash. I
Yo, the other
bet.
sneaky game, we don't got to talk about it because we got to get out of here. It's Virginia Tech and South Carolina. Should be a very good one. That quarterback for Virginia Tech's nice. Drones or whatever his name was. And then obviously Lenore Sellers. That's gonna be a good one tomorrow. That's gonna be a sneaky good game.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure, man. That's our show, man. Tell us who y'all got though. Who y'all got in all these games? Texas is Arch the second coming of Peyton. Is the second?
Yes,
Is
he
he
is.
the and next?
Yeah. He's been highly touted as the Heisman winner, and he's going to get snubbed by defensive back Caleb Downs from the Big Ten at the end of the year and not win the Heisman, and he's probably going to lose to a rival. So, yes, that's exactly what's going to happen. Arch is the second coming of Peyton Manning.
Michigan also starting a true freshman quarterback as well. So again, you got a lot. Like the college football playoff is going to be wide open because you just have on top
Yeah,
of
you
all the
do.
player movement, the most important position has a lot of new faces who's got a lot to prove. So we'll see what
Facts.
happens, man. Y'all let us know what y'all think. That's been our time. Please remember you can check us out wherever you get the good podcast. Search for It's a Black and White Thing or Brains and Bars. You can also find us here on YouTube at Brains and Bars. Hit the notification bell, hit the like button, leave a comment, tell a friend to tell a friend it's those boys again. You can also catch us on Facebook Live, Twitter. Yeah, and we're also Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Brains and Bars. So next time it's been a Black
And White.
White Thing, man. Mama Ward, have a good holiday weekend.
Bye,
Everybody have
Mom.
a
I
good
love
holiday
you.
weekend. We'll holler at y'all, man. Y'all be easy.
All right, peace.